Hey, Renee, Chris, and Ryan going live. Best podcast, Beauty and the Beast. Sit back and catch a vibe. Oh yeah, we talking zombies and apocalypses and all those things you like. Going beast mode, and if you didn't know, it's Peter Z up on the mic. Hey, TWD family, grab the snacks about the pantry and subscribe and like if you can, please. Or those walkers eat you like some candy. Hey, okay. You at the right place at the right time. No one does it better, that's the bottom line. Beauty and the Beast, this is prime time. Let's go.
Oh, goodness. Hello.
If only you guys could have seen what just happened.
It's okay.
Can we get a repeat?
I was excited. I'm just happy to be here.
Can we just have a repeat?
No,
that's...
Just a little bit.
I need a gift.
Your eyes only.
Why do you gotta make it weird?
No, I was going along to Peter's lyrics. So I did walk before those walkers eat like some candy. I was going like this, eating some candy.
That's eating cereal.
Well,
cereal.
It could be a bowl full of candy.
Pasta.
Could be a bowl full of candy.
I'm gonna be like, yeah.
Well, look.
How much candy do you eat with a spoon?
Look, we could do a competition. We'll go get some candy, put it in a fucking bowl, and find out.
The kids, please. Yeah.
All right.
It could be a bowl full of nerds, and it's candy, and I'm eating it with a spoon.
But what about like geeks?
That's what you did there.
I like it.
Whoa, Pie. Yes.
What?
It goes without saying that anytime he and I are in the same room, pants will be on.
Yeah, what are you kidding me?
What?
I mean, what? Unless you're talking to Pamela and what was going on in this episode, because things got...
All right. Let's start out the gate hot. She was like, she was digging for more than a coin. I'm sorry. I don't give a shit what you say.
Maybe she's trying to see if it was heads up.
She was,
Oh, goodness.
she was digging for some hot balls.
Mm-hmm. It's true, Tippy. You can't have pants and hot balls at the same time.
I don't know if I didn't catch that on my first watch through, but like when I rewatched it today, that's when I messaged you guys, and I was like,
You were quite chatty about it. Actually.
Yeah.
Ryan. Was like, oh.
Yeah, Ryan was going off today. Sound check wise, you guys can hear everybody, obviously. It
they
looks
said
like.
that they're kind of low.
So it says Meg is kind of quiet too, so let's just adjust some. But at least all the mics are on. No, yeah. We just have to. Look, we were able to defeat that before we started today.
Right.
That might be the only time in my life that somebody said I'm quiet. Yeah. So thank you.
I think we're good. I think it's just. I think it might have been just because we were talking. I don't think they were like quiet.
Renee, say something.
Hello?
All right, Meg, say something.
What up?
Oh. Okay.
All right. Now, let us know how that sounds. That way, that you guys are hearing them separately.
Yeah.
Just to make sure. If I have to, I will try to do some adjustments.
Yes. Okay.
I'm still quiet. Which I'm, again,
Oh,
makes
there you
it,
go.
I'm never quiet. So is it something on my end?
Nope, I think you're good.
I think you're good. Yeah.
Because you sound good, like, to me. Yeah. They were saying, I had said, Renee's super quiet. I heard a little whisper.
Well.
How is it now? Oh, there, she said there.
Yeah. Okay. There's Renee. Yeah. We found it. So tonight, just so you guys know, we've been together for an hour already because we decided to spruce up the show and get away from Skype and use Zoom. And it took a little work, but we put our collective heads together. We did some testing. So now we're using Zoom. I noticed right away a sound difference with us, but I do with them as well.
Yep.
So thank you for letting us adjust the volume, though, because that's something we weren't able to tell before.
I tried as much as I could, but it was hard to hear it in one ear on this and then hear it on that. It was, yeah. So it helps.
But we're here, and we're better. We're better than we were last week. and we're always going to continue to get better. So there's that. We did. I mean, kind of like an exciting little thing that Renee was able to work on for us this past week is when we were talking. I think it was in the after show last week. We had discussed getting a QR code for all our social medias. So now Renee she made the QR code. So now it'll be just as a quick little simple, for someone new who you guys might know or someone we know and they might be new to what we do. It'll be as simple as, hey, check them out, scan this QR code. And that QR code will bring them to our YouTube, our Insta, our Facebook, the Twitter.
Yep.
They'll get everything all in one little QR code. And there's no searching involved. It's just there at their fingertips.
Yeah.
And I am posting it on Twitter right now.
Yeah, the QR code will be on Twitter. So if you guys could take that, share it, give it to some new people that you might think that they'd be interested in hanging out with all of us and joining in on the podcast. And then, all they have to do after that is just like and subscribe.
Just be like Oprah. You get a card, you get a card, you get a
Yeah,
card.
exactly. And you get a QR code, and you get a QR code.
Exactly.
That's what I did at the camp in May. When I walked by, I was like, hey, here you go, check us out.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty please bring that to our viewing party so we can hang it up on. Oh, yeah, absolutely, Anthony. 100%. We will have, I think we're going to print it out and put it on tables or chairs or whatever for everybody.
And well, it was on the back of our business cards as well. So
Yeah.
plenty of those to pass out at the camp and at the viewing party.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool.
It'll be sweet.
So, guys, we were very excited about episode 19 last week. I know I was because I had already watched it. You didn't get to. I know Renee wasn't able to get to it yet, I believe, as well, right? And Meg, you weren't able to watch it yet as of last week?
19?
Yeah.
Last week I
Did you
had
watch
checked
it
it.
last week?
No, I watched it Sunday.
Okay. So I was pretty much the only one who had watched 19 already. And I've been very excited about this episode. Linda says she liked it. Yeah, look, I got to say from a fan standpoint, from someone who's pretty critical of the show, this was one of the most exciting and I think well storyline put together episodes that they've had for in 5 seasons, probably going back to Herschel's farm kind of era here, kind of thing. The barn's on fire, everyone's scattering, the excitement, the drama, the death, the horde,
That's my favorite episode.
It brought back those feelings for me, this episode. It starts out with, Pamela in the morgue, or what I guess I'm going to call it a morgue. And Meg, I know you had an issue with how long it took Sebastian to turn.
Yeah, it just seemed really long. Because if you think about it, in the last episode when the cleaning crew died, it didn't take them long to turn. But
Yeah.
Sebastian, it felt like it was almost a day.
Renee, do you happen to know anything from the timeline from when he was bit? Because I know sometimes you get timeline stuff where you could be like, oh well, it was technically only an hour, but they made it.
Yeah, I haven't read anything, but I mean, it's still daylight. So because the episode started out in the cities on the square still. Everyone's running around. It's still daylight.
Right.
He was killed in the daylight. So it hasn't been that long, but I understand what she's saying. It's the 8 cleaning crew simultaneously turned, which doesn't, it's supposed to be random, right? But they all turned together.
Mm-hmm.
But then, I don't think it had been too long, but I definitely think it was longer than the cleaning crew for sure. So, but I haven't read any, analytics on it or anything to know for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious about that, but you're right. I mean, it is still daylight out. The commotion's taking place as the episode opens.
I want to compare the outfit that Pamela was wearing in last episode versus this episode, because that'll really tell.
It's the same because she was
Exactly.
that pinky. Like somebody said it, she was because of her necklace. They were comparing her to the Queen of Hearts, like the villain of the Queen of Hearts. I thought that was
I
cool.
like that.
But yeah.
Oh
It was
yeah.
her pinky red, and then her necklace I think was a heart, or it was red anyway if it wasn't a heart. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, right off the bat, she's obviously looking to blackmail somebody. I mean, this is blackmail, which he's coming up with.
Oh God,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So obviously she wants Eugene to be the fall guy, which we'll get into. There's plenty of Eugene in this episode. I know you had mentioned the part with him and Daryl later in the episode, which we'll get to, but it was pretty funny. I would have to think that there was a couple of outtakes for that because how could you not bust out laughing?
I mean, if you look at Norman Reedus' face,
Yeah.
I mean, you could tell that it was killing him on the inside that he couldn't laugh.
Yeah.
Like you could actually see it.
Yeah, if you've ever seen Josh McDermott and Norman Reedus together, they're hilarious
Oh,
when
yeah.
they're together.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't imagine how long. I would like to know how many takes it took
Yeah.
to get his face to look that serious.
Step aside, Hoss. It's just like throw punch. Shut up.
When he made the comment about no one needs to get hurt, I was like,
yeah.
it's
The old like
you know what I could
cowardly lion. Put him up.
you know what I could equate this to? If you've ever watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine,
Yeah.
Oh
It's
my
the scene.
I love that show.
yeah, you know where Terry Crews and Charles what's his name?
Boyle.
Charles Boyle.
Yeah.
They're in the boxing ring.
Oh my god.
and you see what was Hitchcock goes, "Come on, Jake, I want to see the big guy pop the little guy's head off." And Boyle goes, "Yeah, Jake, I'm gonna pop the little guy's head off." And he goes, "Charles, you're clearly the little guy here." He goes, "Ah, you're so funny, Jake." That's all I can think of.
Oh, I love that show.
Let me see. So by the way, guys, I don't know if you have the chat up. You'll see we posted a poll as well.
Yep.
Ryan asked, "Who do you guys think would be the next major death in Walking Dead?" Right now, Jerry's leading the way with 57% of the vote.
I could only add 4 options, so I chose the 4 that, in my opinion,
Yeah,
there was a lot of foreshadowing of their death in the episode.
yeah.
And I think that was Ezekiel, Jerry, Aaron, and Eugene.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the 4 that I really think there was a lot of hints at possibly of them dying.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
may have voted.
We're in the chat. We can vote.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
See,
not going to say who I voted for, but I voted.
Power Lord did such a
I-
great performance.
I
Yeah.
have to think that it was Jerry, though. I really think that he's the next one. As much as I hate to say that because I love Cooper. He's like one of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
But between the injury to his leg, the conversation about Kingdom 2.0 and King
Yeah.
Jerry and
Queen.
King Jerry and Queen Nabila. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, come on, man! Like you're just winding us up right before that gut punch of killing Jerry, and then you're gonna have Aaron have to break that news to Nabila.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be gut wrenching and heartbreaking.
There was a lot of moments with each character in this episode, though, with kind of like memory throwbacks. Aaron talking about him and Eric.
Yeah.
Lydia
I love
talking
all
of
that. There's-
yeah,
I wrote a list of so it was Eric and then even Eugene admitting that he lied.
Yeah.
He brought that back up.
Yeah.
There was an A on Rosita's door.
Yeah,
And so the A is always a predominant number or letter. And then of course the Smart Walkers is a nod to the beginning also. And I really got. I was watching when Judith is talking and they're showing all the scenes of Eugene, and then they show. You always forget how Abe's death impacted Eugene. We always focus on Glenn. Everybody's Glenn, and that's. But Abraham got killed too, and that. Can you imagine what that was for Eugene? And they showed that clip of his face, and it was just like, oh crap! You just remember those things. So I love how they're doing this, and I feel like this is how they're going to honor the previous cast members and think. Everyone was hoping to see cameos and
yeah,
clips, memories, or something. But I think this is how they're going to do it. Is
Yeah.
these beginning monologues, which
Right.
are beautiful. I love them with
Oh,
Judith, telling the story. But then I think this is how they're going to handle that instead of the actual cameos and things, which is kind of sad, but it is still really good the way they're mixing it right into the story.
yeah. And I think that in this episode too, I think the character that showed the most growth is Eugene, and I think
Mhm.
that's very much why they like it was about him and
Yeah.
the fact that he lied about so much to just stay alive because he was a coward.
Mhm.
But then you see that this is a guy who literally had to lie to have other people keep alive, to now he's willing to sacrifice his life if necessary for somebody else, and that's not Eugene's style. That's not who he is.
yeah.
And that I think that just goes a long way to show how far he's come in these years and these seasons.
Like, the dude was public enemy number one. And all he cared about was finding Max.
Yeah.
It still is, in
And
my
if
opinion.
that's not growth, I don't know what is.
Yeah. And for him to sit there and for him to say that, oh, you know what, I did this
Mhm.
and I caused his death and I regret it. And then for Mercer to sit there and go, you know, what else? You know, anything else? And he goes, I acted alone. He goes, Max Mercer might have been there, but she wasn't part of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that when he added that, and then he said, "I did." He even took the fall for the recordings and everything,
Yeah.
and so she can be clean, you know, free and clear. So
Couple things from the chat. Zay mentioned the letter A on Rosita's door, which we did notice. Linda says, "Did you notice how creepy Pamela was when she was standing over her dead son until he became a walker? She took the time to talk with him, but while during his whole life, she always ignored him."
yeah,
And you know that's the mother's remorse, I guess, or whatever, if you want to call it. But I don't really
That happens
think
a lot in life.
Yeah.
I don't really think that was. I don't know.
I think she was just trying to make herself feel better.
Yeah, I don't think it was real. I don't think it was true. You know, like it wasn't like
Yeah,
authentic.
all of a sudden had this maternal something that she's never had, and
Yeah.
I think she felt
it was very
responsible.
odd. Yeah,
Someone did mention Teal, and he did a really good job turning. I mean, there was a pretty fantastic job of him being a walker. Him acting that out and doing that.
I don't remember, Renee, was it you that shared it? Somebody shared a photo of him and Mercer, and it was him in his walker makeup, and it was
Yeah.
pretty cool. Like I was like, oh, you know, that's really funny.
Mhm.
he did it. But so Michael James Shaw was licking at his wounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you read this, I think it was on his Instagram story, and he said, "Consume me raw or undercooked chicken, blah blah, Teo, blah blah." Was it was hilarious.
That's funny.
Um,
And you know, like I said before, like to go off, I think it was what Linda said about Pamela's creepy
mhm,
shit.
mhm.
But like, what's with the pocket rub and tug that she did on
Yeah.
Lance? I mean,
I was
That-
wondering how long it took to get back to this
Yeah,
part.
okay, we start talking and then we drop the ball there. We need to
Right.
well,
Well,
she didn't drop the ball. She fumbled it.
Look, one of the main. I wanted to get to the one and only part of this episode where it ground my guts.
Mm.
Okay. So we get the opening scenes done or whatever. They round up everybody. They start their interrogation process, whatever. But meanwhile, you got Aaron, Cooper, or Aaron, Jerry, Lydia, and
Elijah.
and they're heading to Oceanside. So they come across the horde in the middle of the woods, right? Jerry wants to bunker down and make everyone fettuccine con cannellini bean linguine, whatever. And I'm like, now is he making cobbler for the camp, or are we going to get fettuccine con cannellini bean?
We have 2 cobbler events scheduled, so it will
Oh.
be cobbler. Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm going to have to ask him to give me the recipe for the cannellini,
wanna see
the
the
fettuccine con cannellini bean. Try saying that, man. That's tough.
Nope, absolutely
I can't even say it once.
But
not.
they come across the horde, and Aaron wants to take the horse and buggy through the woods.
Mhm.
Okay. Why? By all means, why would you take a horse and buggy, a wooden wheeled vehicle, which they put shitty rubber tires on,
Alright.
and tried pushing this thing through the woods with the horse?
And through the mud.
And then, not to mention, you obviously, okay, we knew something was going to happen. You know, that can't go smoothly. So we get stuck. How come no one wanted to go, you're in the woods, right? No one wanted to go get a giant, like, stick or limb from a tree and do a lever action to help pry the fucking buggy up in the air? No. We're just going to pull it and push until someone breaks a fucking leg. All right? I know they got to inject drama into the show.
Wouldn't be good
But
storytelling.
why did it have to be Jerry's knee? You know what I mean? Like right there and then, I was like, he's dead. He's dead. They're killing Jerry. There it is. They're killing Jerry.
I thought for sure and I know we're skipping ahead a little bit, but when the walker picked up the rock, I thought for sure that Jerry was done. I was like, between the leg injury and all sort of shit, he's done.
Yeah.
And he did, and they didn't kill him. And I'm like, okay, well, now you're just prolonging the inevitable, in my opinion.
Yeah. Did you notice that Elijah keeps his mask with him?
Yeah,
He
it was on his bag.
Well, it brings it. It's on the buggy too. It's on the side of the buggy, hanging from the side of the buggy. So he travels with his mask a la like Negan with a Whisperer mask.
Mm.
Yeah.
Everyone's traveling with their alter egos throughout the apocalypse, apparently.
But also going back to what you were saying about going through the woods, it was so not like Aaron. He's usually very calm, collected, and
Yeah.
composed. And they haven't given really a crap about Oceanside for a while.
Yeah.
Until now.
And they're like, we gotta get there. It's like, it's not making sense.
Well, I think what's making sense is what they're putting.
Yeah.
I think that's why they're putting. I mean, I agree. It was a rookie mistake for him, and that's not an Aaron move.
Right.
But whatever. But you know, I feel like they're just trying to get to Oceanside because we don't know what they're gonna find there.
Yeah. So Linda and it looks like Pi and probably everybody else want us to talk about what we think of the relationship between Pamela and Lance. Now, personally, I think that there was definitely favors done because Lance definitely shows a likeness to when Pamela touches him. You know, his face, caresses his face and all that stuff and everything.
And the way she like
It's pure
had her
speculation.
hand in his mouth.
It's pure speculation, but I'm going to say that at one point, maybe a few times, he was chosen
Throwing it down.
for Pamela to do things. It's the best way.
I mean, Carol said it. You get happiness anywhere you can, and don't take, don't be sorry
Sure,
for it.
right.
So,
Yeah.
I think for Lance in his own fucked up way that he has some affection towards Pamela and has some form of lust for her. I think for Pamela it's about manipulation.
Pi says, was Lance Sebastian's daddy? Hmm.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but they do share a similar hairline.
But I think Lance is obsessed with the Milton family in general. Has always, it goes back to his childhood as the chauffeur's son, watching this powerful family, watching them have everything while he has nothing, and aspiring to achieve that. And I'm not saying there's not some freaky deaky going on or whatever. I'm just saying
Freaky
he was
deaky.
completely obsessed with the Miltons.
Yeah.
And I think, he just, I think it's just twisted his brain.
Mm-hmm. Tippy says nothing is done right in the TWD in the TWD unless they do it the hardest way possible. I think it just moved on me, but I'm pretty sure that's what he said. Yeah. Drama-based series, they gotta inject that drama somewhere. But still, I mean, the one other small part, which, because I know we were talking about, I heard you guys talking about it earlier. I was away, but I still heard it. You were talking about the walkers and when they first, I guess, like appeared, and so the first time they appear, it's in daylight, and you see the hand grab the fence.
Yep.
But then they don't attack until the middle of dark.
I'm just doing my
I'm
pull-ups. Hold on.
I'm like,
Hold on.
Were they like kind of sitting there looking at the lock going, that's not it. No.
that kind of goes into
Did
what's
this?
running
Did we do
my
this?
So what did your guess, Meg? Let's hear.
Well, I kind of told you already, Renee. You kind of knew this already. So the walker or the variants, they attack at night. Now you're down. It's a whole group. We saw how big the horde is, and then we're down to 3 people because Jerry's basically out. Then all of a sudden it cuts to daylight, and they're all dead. You mean to tell me they had no issue taking them out when they had never seen a variant before?
Yeah. Well, but here's the thing. I don't think all of them were variants. I think you had a blend.
Still.
Yeah, no, I get it. But they did the old divide and conquer thing. Like, you guys jump down, and then we'll separate them, and we'll do this and that. So yeah, you're right. I mean,
And Jerry's got those new sweet swords.
he did have some pretty sweet moves.
Yeah.
But
when Cooper talked about it on Talking Dead, he was so excited for fans to see that.
I was getting scared though because look at what happened with Jesus. We finally got to see his really cool sword action. And
yeah.
I was kind of a little expecting that.
Yeah, there was a couple times I was very worried for Jerry in this episode.
They definitely did Jesus dirty with that. And even Tom Payne was very upset with that because he even expressed the fact of all the training and everything he did for that character and then to be off like that.
But it was amazing because nobody expected it.
Yeah.
Nobody knew he was leaving. Jesus'
Yeah.
death was amazing.
Mhm.
And I
That
love
was.
because no one saw it coming. And I think that was what was good about it because he is so talented with that, his skills and that, and you would not expect it. That'd be like Rick Grimes getting, it's just,
Mhm.
you don't expect it. And I thought Jesus' death was one of the best in the series.
It was. It was handled really well, despite all the BS behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Pi says the smart variant walkers helped the entire herd over the fence before attacking.
They're pushing him up over.
Step and go, step and go.
I did like how the one walker turned. He like the whole group.
Yes.
Because it was like in Tales of the Walking Dead with that one that was kind of took care of the group that Dr. Everett saw.
Mhm.
I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And there's two things that really grinded my guts in that whole thing. And I'm not going to touch the third one, which I talked about, but because you guys kind of touched upon it, where all of a sudden that they had to climb over walls. We went from no walkers to like 36 walkers walking around, and in minutes, and they had no warning. To me, that was just bizarre. But anyways, when they're hiding from the horde, and the doorknob starts turning, right? And Jerry just looks at it. And he gets this puzzled look on his face. Motherfucker, move! Open the fucking door! What are you doing staring at it? Like, who else do you think's out there?
Yeah.
You think he's a magical survivor who just killed 36 fucking zombies and now he's just gonna try, I'm trying to get, trying to help you out. No, close the fucking door.
It's me, I was there.
Yeah, I just, yeah. I
But,
know.
like, that took more time than it should have. And for someone who's been in the apocalypse this long, your survival instinct and reactions would be a lot better than that. And then, I lost my train of thought because I'm that angry about it. Hold on, it'll come to me.
So he had to hoist himself up through that hole,
Yeah.
right? So you're doing that with pure upper body strength.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Lydia, I
Yep.
could see no problem.
Yep.
Elijah, no problem.
Yep.
Jerry, without help, there's a problem. Like, they didn't even let's pull him up through the whole thing.
I
No.
think they did that. Somebody extended their hand.
But I mean, like,
I'll go back and watch again, but I thought someone put their hand down.
yeah, I don't know.
But I agree.
Yeah. And I was, that's,
Anthony said it was Lori at the door.
Lord. He's sticking with it. I like it.
I like it.
He's
Committed.
sticking with it.
Yeah, and you know what pissed me off too is I understand that Aaron explained it that, I've heard these stories and I believe that they were just rumors. But how the fuck do you not mention that? I'm sorry, rumor or not, if the four of us were our own community, right? And I'm out in fucking, wherever the fuck doing a supply run, and this guy I run into tells me, hey, by the way, dude, I heard that there's like zombies that can open doors and climb walls and shit. So that raises two questions for me. Why keep that to yourself? Rumor or not, why keep that to yourself?
Mm-hmm.
That's nonsense. Second of all, who the fuck did you run into that was just like, by the way, I heard there was...
Yeah. Well, you have to remember, Aaron used to be a scout. So he was out for long periods of time, him and Eric, right? I mean, Eric did it too, I believe. But when they were with, the original Alexandria group, he was a scout. He spent time out in the woods, whatever. So even though he had at that point never really seen it for himself, but he had heard it, so maybe he heard it in his travels as he was the scout for Alexandria looking for survivors and people to join. I could, but you're right. If we're all in the community and I just, you guys just took me in, one of the first things I would probably say is, hey guys, I know you've probably spent a lot of time out there in the woods and stuff, but by the way, just so you know, I actually watched one of these motherfuckers open a door, and climb a fence and try to kill me with a fucking rock.
That's what I'm saying. If there's even a 1% chance that was legitimate,
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys. Because on that 1% chance that it is true and that is a real thing, that is shit that your community should know. That, hey, just because there's a door doesn't mean you're safe, or just because there's a wall doesn't necessarily mean you're safe.
Yeah.
That sounds like lazy writing to me, honestly.
Anthony says next we'll see a walker water ski jumping over a chart.
So, Linda That's why they waited so long, from the beginning, this key element and thing.
Yeah.
I can explain this to people that haven't heard it before. I know some of you already know this, but just for those that don't know it.
Yep.
Frank Darabont was the first showrunner. He wanted the smart zombies.
Yep.
That's why they were there for about season and a half. That's how long he was there. When the new showrunner came along, he decided to turn and go towards Kirkman's dumb zombies from the comics. So that is why the change. And I know it makes no sense. And that was a creative choice, and that's what they did. My opinion, why they're bringing him back this time, this late in the game, is because this is another nod to the earlier seasons. That's what Kang has said. That's what Nicotero has said. I don't think that this is your France variant. I don't think that this is, I can't explain why. It's just all of a sudden, oh, here, let's stick this in. Other than they're just trying to do a nod to those initial, the first season zombies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't help but wonder what the show would have been like if we had the Smart Walkers for 11 years. Just imagine.
Yeah.
Completely different. Yeah.
Probably a hell of a lot more death.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that, with the dead would be more of a threat than the living. You know what I mean? Like,
and they could have,
or just amount.
Yeah, and then they may have evolved even further. Who knows?
Mhm.
It's hard to say. But
Better late than never.
yeah, I guess.
I mean, maybe we're getting them at the right time.
Yeah.
Everything's ending, and we'll continue to have them with the other shows. But I did actually sit there and reflect and be like, could you imagine like them? Let's say they weren't going to Oceanside, but they were returning back to Alexandria, and them going back and telling Rick and Michonne that they came across a horde, and within that horde were walkers.
Yeah.
They could actually function and do things.
And like almost have like
grab,
independent thinking.
yeah, like grab, turn, pull, climb. You know what I mean? Could you imagine Rick and Michonne's faces hearing that shit, being like Rick would be like, "Wait, are you for real?" kind of thing. Like, you saw this with your own eyes. So,
and it's interesting too, right? Like, I put a lot of thought into it. Why did the Walker grab the rock?
Yeah.
So the only thing that I could think of, right, is that in the wild, animals will evolve to have certain things develop, whether it be a venom, a toxin or whatever, that will immobilize their prey.
Mm-hmm.
Then it allows them to consume the prey on their own, on their own terms. You know what I mean? So was this them evolving in the sense that they learned that, okay, we can't just shamble and hope to get the prey that we want. So they start developing this thought process of incapacitate the prey first by beating a skull in with a rock, and then kill him, and then we can eat him all we want. We don't have to worry about him breaking away or someone killing him. Incapacitate the prey first, and then you eat him.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I thought, because like you have like boa constrictors, right? Like they'll squeeze the prey until they literally kill it, and then they'll consume it.
Mm-hmm.
You have certain snakes that'll do that, certain tarantulas, things like that. And so that's my thought process, is that it's like just an evolutionary step for them of learning to hunt, basically.
Right. Yeah, it was either that or you want to play rock, paper, scissors. No, nothing.
My
Okay.
bad, I'm sorry.
No.
I was reading chat. I'm sorry.
What'd
you say?
I got nothing.
Did you say rock, paper, scissors? Really?
Then the horde. Yeah, well, yeah, we've been touching base on that. The variant letting the horde in and trying to figure out how many variants were in that horde.
Yep.
Not every walker in that horde was a variant, because we only, he's able to hear them going off the beaten path into the woods and turn his head and look, which means he's able to pull that horde with him. Mm-hmm. And from honestly, what we know is there was only really one variant in that whole group, because it's the same one that got stabbed in the shoulder that was fighting with Lydia, because he grabbed her staff, I think it was, and like pulled her. She stabbed him. That's the same one that climbs up because he's got the knife in him. So I mean, theoretically, I think all we really know is that there was one
One,
in that whole group.
Oh yeah, because the one trying to open the door could have been the same one to climb up, right?
Sure. Yeah.
I assume there were two
Everyone
different.
came around.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's probably the one that opened the door. He's the
Yep.
same one who climbed up. He
Yeah.
grabbed the rock. So we only really know, like I said, it's just that one that was in that group. But that one in that group is enough to scare the living shit out of you.
I also
You know,
have
like-
the theory that the variants have existed this entire time, but I think that they're evolving even further to have more of an independent thought process.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was thinking about this more in depth with the hordes, right? When you looked at the hordes, there was always a front runner.
Mm-hmm.
There was always an alpha at the front of the pack who was kind of leading the way. Yeah, you would have, like we would see time and time again, the horde would be kited, or guided over, like the survivors would try to, like, I don't know, herd them a certain way and like lead them somewhere. But there was always like a walker in the front of the group. So was that them developing like an alpha personality that they were kind of leading the pack and like just directing them where to go, and they just instinctively followed?
Mm-hmm.
Now this is like the next step for them, is that they're evolving along this path where now they have independent thought. Not only are they having these like base human instincts of like survival and sticking together and being like a pack animal, but now they're also evolving to like problem solving skills, like opening a door or climbing a wall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's, maybe he opened up the first door or the gate, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And that took him a long time to figure out, which made it easier for him to open up the second one a lot faster. We sat there for 8 hours hitting it.
Yeah, it was funny with the drone out. Like
Yeah.
you see it turn one way and then it turns another way, and
Yeah.
I'm like, he's figuring it out.
Yeah.
He's a baby. He's a baby. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta walk before you gotta crawl before you can walk, right?
Yeah.
There's a bunch going on in the. This is a very active chat tonight. People, but this is how you know everybody loved the episode. Would the variants? Pi said, would the variants be fooled by a whisperer mask?
How smart they are. Yeah.
I mean,
or would they be able to deduce that it's a person?
right.
It depends on their level of comprehension.
Yeah, because I mean, Aaron, his first thought was, "This is a whisperer," as he's beating.
Yeah.
It. He's saying these goddamn whisperers.
It was pretty cool the way he ripped his face off,
That was very cool.
Mhm.
and like seeing the actual like after they kill it,
Scared the shit out of him.
I was like, that's actually freaking cool. Like just seeing like the detail was pretty cool.
It was like a Scooby Doo episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been the whispers the whole time.
Me that tweeted it.
I read an article. Someone must have stole your tweet. I
It's going to be the first time.
know.
Anthony, we've talked about temperature affecting them a few times with the cold weather slowing
Well,
them
they
down.
had snow that time, and they
Yeah.
were, kind of frozen and things. But
That's probably my biggest like grinds my guts segment of The Walking Dead as a whole. My theory is the best time for the zombie apocalypse to happen is fall, because by the time winter comes around, they're all going to be frostbitten.
Yeah,
Any flesh that's not necrotic already is going to be necrotic.
Well, that's if you're not in the northeast.
Oh yeah, true. We're in New York, so I'm okay.
Yeah, if you go south, then you're going to continue running into a problem.
But I mean, that also begs the question that with intense humidity, the increase in moisture, is that going to cause the tissue to break down faster?
Mm-hmm.
But my point being is, I mean, we only are able to walk because of our muscles, right?
Mhm.
Like our muscular system, whatever the fuck.
Yep.
But I'm not a science. I was never a science major. If they're walkers and they're dead, I mean, they're not producing more blood. I mean, so you're not having blood flow to the extremities. So at that point, the muscle would start dying. And now we're how many years into the future
yeah,
from the outbreak? And most walkers, in my opinion, I get it's not good storytelling, but I always have to base things in fact. Is I feel like after that
Wouldn't be
long
much
time,
left right
there
now.
wouldn't be much left. The only walkers we'd have left are fresh turns.
that's why I have. Well, yeah, and that's why to introduce the variant now, I feel is backwards in the storyline. You know what I mean? Like you're telling we talked about this, I think, in our text messaging group. Like you're introducing evolving walkers at the end where it's been, 15 something years or something like that. They should, anything that's made it, to this point should be in the ground, barely moving, unless it's a fresh kill and something fairly new. But now we're introducing a hybrid variant that's learning, like how is this amount of time passed and they're not just falling apart,
I kind of just thought of something. It
Go
is
ahead.
so in left field, but I'm the queen of left field. So we're 15 years, like you said,
Roughly,
into the
yeah.
apocalypse. Now, obviously, our brains are always evolving. What if, like, when we die, you have all the knowledge of the walkers, so that's still somehow embedded in your brain, even though your brain is dead, and it kind of makes you like the smarter walker.
Yeah.
If I made sense there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But the body's still going to deteriorate.
No, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, if it is indeed a fresh kill.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, see, a lot of people were throwing this back to as well, like
the
with
CDC.
when Morgan and his wife.
Mhm.
A lot of people have started pulling shit from the first seasons and being like, "Oh my God, she remembered. She was going back to her home."
Well, because even Aaron made a mention. He goes, "We've heard of walkers, going back to places that are familiar to them." And
Yes.
the minute I heard that, I thought of
That's
Morgan's wife.
another throwback to earlier seasons,
Yeah.
which Renee said this episode is chock full of them.
Yeah.
They are, yeah.
I'm trying to think back to the CDC episode with Jenner, right? Because I remember, I haven't watched it in a long time. It's been so long since I watched it, but there was a thing where he actually had a study of the brain activity
That's what I was getting at.
of a person dying.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then he said the brain restarted, right?
Yeah. Well, it started
Not
to like
restart,
the
or-
brainstem area started to re-stimulate.
Yeah,
Like
brain
only in
scans, but none of the other part. Like
the
it,
primal area, right? Yeah.
So I think, going off what Meg said, I think that begs the question of what's retained after you turn. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
How much is retained?
Well, and see, the thing is too, like not walkers, but traditional zombies outside of the Walking Dead universe, they had memory, a little bit of that, where they,
Yeah.
But the Walking Dead universe is written as if that zombie lore was never a thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The people didn't know anything. They didn't know, how to obviously kill them, or they had to learn all that stuff. So that's how it was written. So it's probably just some of that also, but.
I always wonder too, and I know that this is just like we have to make assumptions about, right? The only reason that we know that everyone is infected is because Jenner told Rick, right before they left the CDC. And he says, we're all infected, right? That's not common knowledge. There's very few people in the world and following the outbreak that would have actually known that information. It would have been the scientists that were working on this thing with the CDC, right? So when you have a new person join the community, like let's say they just join Alexandria, do they just go, hey buddy, by the way, just so you know, in case I die, we're all infected, so you got to stab me in the head. Like, is that part of the new hire orientation? I don't understand it. You know what I mean? How does that information, like, how does that? I just not like idle conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So is there like a welcome to the community like packet?
It's written in the rules. It's written in the rule book. I want to point out something Mitchell wrote earlier too. He said, if the variants were a thing before, it would have made the Whisperers a lot scarier and deadlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Because they would have been able to do things that they weren't able to do as Whisperers.
Well, that, and I mean, but once again, do we know if that would have worked? Would the variant be able to not recognize that, or would the variants been just as much of a threat to the Whisperers as well?
Yeah.
We don't know that.
Or would they have blended in with
Yeah.
fast-moving walkers, or
Right.
smarter walkers?
Yeah.
Do you think that we're going to see like Z Nation like running walkers?
Maybe in France.
Oh God, no, I hope not.
Maybe in
I think
France.
in France we will, because
Yeah.
that gal, she was pretty quick across that room.
Yeah.
But do you think that we're going to see that in The Walking Dead before it ends?
No. I think
Maybe in like a post-credit scene in the final episode.
Yeah, because
Maybe.
there is rumors that they were working on one, so maybe a post credits kind of scene, but not, I don't think, in the storyline.
Yeah, I don't think with everything going on, I don't think they have the room to like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To add that, but I still would like to know, like, when they finally make it to Oceanside, which we'll find out. I didn't watch ahead, so I have no idea what episode 20 is about.
Yep.
But I know that, whenever they do get to Oceanside, they're going to find either a community that's completely wiped out and dead because of Lance.
Yep.
Maybe one or two stragglers that survived, which I know, what was his name? The musician, the teacher. Luke. He was at Oceanside, but right? So, I mean, maybe he survived,
We haven't seen him. We haven't seen
Yeah.
him in the lineup at the end when Lance was flipping the coin.
He wasn't there.
Yeah.
So maybe he's still alive, and that'll be the link.
Yeah, there could be. Yeah, I think he's filming. What is he filming right now? Like
One of those Harry Potter
other
spin-offs.
things. Yeah, so I doubt we see him, but maybe.
Did you guys notice? I know, obviously, we know this episode has a lot of callbacks to season 1. It also had a callback to season 3.
It did.
In the scenes, I know we're probably going to go back to talking about this topic, so might as well start it now. In the scene where Pamela and Lance, are in like that solitary confinement,
Mhm.
she brings in a zombified Sebastian.
Mhm.
It's a straight callback to the season 3 finale when Andrea is tied up with a
Oh my
zombified-
God. Yeah.
I noticed
That's right.
that immediately, and I was like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah.
Somebody else mentioned too that Pamela is the Governor 2.0. I think it might have been Mitchell. I'm not sure.
Somebody wrote an article on his screen or someone that says all Walking Dead villains eventually turn into the governor. I didn't read the article, but I thought that was an intriguing title.
Yeah.
And that also kind of reminds you of when Sasha was in, when
The coffin.
Yeah.
well, she was before that. When
Oh,
Negan-
before when she was part.
Negan's like, you need to come with
Yeah.
me. You're beach-sized lady nuts, blah, blah, blah. And he said, beach ball, excuse me. And but he gave her the option. He gave her a weapon. I don't remember what weapon he gave her, but he said, he's dead. You either, let him get you,
Mhm.
or, so that kind of, shows that too, where she had to fight her way
Yeah.
out of that, or she would have died then.
Linda said she was curious. She goes, "Why the soldiers didn't check the church where Gabriel was working? Daryl and Rosita were there with Eugene hiding." I mean, they're obviously obvious story loopholes for reasons.
He could have been hiding it when maybe they did check it because Daryl was gone getting
Yeah.
and Eugene would have been there. He could have easily hidden,
Right.
But I wondered that too. I thought, that's one of his people, and why wouldn't you look there? But maybe they did, and because if you read, they've had to cut a lot of stuff just for time, which I don't know why would they just didn't give us longer episodes for this last 8. It doesn't, make
Because
sense.
of the new show.
I know.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm bitter about it.
Yeah.
I tried to watch it.
I didn't even bother.
I'll tell you what I thought afterwards.
One thing that I've been kind of thinking about is we've mentioned this before. What causes Negan and Maggie to go to New York? What causes Daryl to go to France, right? And they're putting a lot of emphasis on the variants. Basically a whole episode dedicated to showing us how they are evolving, and then you have that weird post-credit scene in France where the zombie's running, right, and like punching the door, putting a hole, putting a dent in the door.
Mm-hmm.
What if? I mean, the CRM is still out there, right? I mean, they're still a thing. There's still a presence that we just don't know what they're up to. And so, what if at the end of Walking Dead, Negan, Maggie, and Daryl get recruited by the CRM, and they say, "Hey, this guy, he vouched for you, like Rick, let's say, right? He vouched for you." Says that you guys are good at what you do. You're good at scouting. You're good at this. You're good at that. We've gotten reports in New York and Paris, let's say. And, we're hearing about these walkers that, in France, they run super fast and they have super strength. But in New York, they climb skyscrapers.
Mm-hmm.
We need you to go investigate for us. Here's the equipment to do it. Daryl gets a helicopter. That's as far as fucking to fly for a helicopter. But my point being is that maybe this is how they tie in them going to other places. Maybe they're investigating these reports.
I don't think you can end the series with not being able to introduce the CRM one way or another.
Yeah.
I think this series has to end, and you have to implement the CRM somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the cut scenes at the very end or whatever, but I think that you'll see those soldiers in black uniforms and the emblems and all that other stuff. Like, I feel like in order for this to happen the right way, like you just said, you have to include the CRM somewhere in the ending of this show.
And you have to explain, like, one, how Daryl gets to France,
Mm-hmm.
and two, why Maggie would leave her son behind unless she brings. I just don't see the community splitting up like that unless there was a specific reason or unless everybody else is dead.
Yeah.
But even then, why would Daryl and Maggie split up?
The showrunners have said this series will not end setting up the spin-offs.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But to me, I feel like you would have to. But
I don't think it's going to set off. I don't think introducing the CRM will set off the spinoffs. I think it just helps close out this show with Commonwealth, show the ending of what is bigger out there. You know what I mean? Kind of like a continuation. Like, you're gonna. I just feel like you need to show. I don't know. It makes sense in order to like introduce the CRM somehow as this show is ending to open up how big the world is outside of what they've been involved in. You know, yeah, Commonwealth is a big community, 50,000 people, whatever, blah, 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 blah. The CRM is like still kind of like, I don't want to say nationwide, but it's Philadelphia. I mean, from what we learned in other
Chicago,
yeah,
right?
Chicago, Philadelphia, New York. It's it's spread out. They have more. We know that they have helicopters. We don't know what else they really do have though. For all we know, they could have
freaking cargo.
They could have
planes,
jets. Yeah, they could have cargo planes. They could have jets. Who knows?
Yeah.
We kind of all assumed and figured out that on Tales of the Walking Dead that they were responsible for carving that giant trench and separating the land. You know,
It doesn't necessarily mean they did it. It just had to be a huge group who did it.
it was.
So, but I mean, if
Who
in
else,
30
you know?
years, yeah, but in 30 years, somebody else could be the next thing. We don't.
True.
You know,
Yeah,
I mean, that's a long time. So,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, some big group had to do that. It wasn't
Right.
just,
with the technology. Yeah, you needed equipment in order to do that.
Everything, yeah.
Yeah.
To what? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, so going back to like talking about like introducing the CRM to end Walking Dead versus how they're gonna deal with Maggie's spinoff and Daryl's spinoff. I definitely agree saying that you have to do the CRM to end Walking Dead. However, I think we're gonna figure out how they got to New York, how they got to France in the beginning of their own series, because otherwise it does not fit for a Walking Dead ending if you lead off with that. Because what if they decide to make another spinoff? Then that spinoff basically doesn't even count in the universe because they didn't really show it, but yet it does count in the universe.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You just need to end it where it's at and let the spinoffs speak for themselves, even though it's a spinoff. Yeah, I'm rambling here.
No. I mean, so we spent we've spent a lot of time on the variant and everything else because that was to me the centerpiece of the show. But a lot did happen in this episode besides that. If you want to talk about like the Rosita and Mercer transaction, that whole, Mercer basically telling her like, you need to report your friend to me, and you see him, he bring whatever.
When they were sitting down,
make him
was
turn himself in.
Rosita, Espinosa, whatever.
Yeah.
You reside at 929 Spring Street or whatever. Do you find that information to be correct? And she's like, really? Like what?
This.
Yeah.
Like she's
right?
offended. Like what the fuck?
Yeah. Like.
And then she's like, I'll call you if I see him.
Yeah.
Well, that's what. Yeah, because he's like, if not, like the repercussions are going to be, like severe or whatever. He's like, no one will ever get out of here, kind of thing. The smirk that she throws his way, the kind of like, like Mercer has no idea of what our group has literally been through.
Mm-hmm.
No, not at all.
Like that's such an empty threat to her. I felt like that was such an empty threat to her. Like she's like, I'll kill every one of your soldiers. You know what I mean? Like
In my sleep.
oh, honey. Like that was such a oh honey moment. That oh honey, oh honey, stop it. Like she just and I thought that was like a really good like silent FU. Like okay, sure, like that was like that
That's
little
like a moment.
yeah, exactly, yeah. And he goes through a lot of different emotions in this episode as well. The first one being Rosita, the next one being with Princess. I mean, it began with him and Pamela, and pretty much him being her sister being blackmailed, basically. So he's on this constant roller coaster of who am I as a person in this episode, and Max throws him under the bus. She's like, look, our father, who was, I think she said lieutenant or captain or something like that, would do the right thing. Generally, he did the right thing. He led the right way.
And he'd be ashamed of you.
Yeah, and he'd be ashamed of you. And I was like, oof.
That was twisting the knife right there.
Yeah. I was like, damn, girl, get it.
She saw that wound and she took that table salt and just poured it right on top.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a ton of good content in this episode to go off of. They mentioned the gates, like Daryl's, it's him, Eugene, and Rosita, and they're in the church, and they're planning the getaway. And Daryl's mentioning those gates that we had spoke about, and him knowing the shift change and where the openings are and what gates to go through. So a lot of that was like good, this good intel to hear, stuff that like we had talked about and then have it be like spoken about in the episode. That was pretty cool.
Can we talk about Princess's speech though?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. There's so much good content. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Kick it off.
No, I mean, it was so powerful. And like, as she's talking about it, I'm literally envisioning it. Like, it would have been really cool if we had a montage, but I kind of feel like it would have taken away from how powerful she was in delivering it. But it was just perfect. I like, she owned that episode, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
With that monologue alone.
Yeah, and I mean, I know Renee, you wrote. Did you posted an article you wrote, right, about her backstory?
Undead Walking, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's she used some very like real life storyline to that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure that there's millions of people who can relate to that type of background and up. What's the word I'm looking for? Like upbringing, like stuff like that.
And when Mercer looked at her and was like, this is the best we've got or whatever, and she goes, "Don't say that."
Yeah.
She goes, "You can always find better."
Yep.
And I was like, "Oh, damn."
Yeah. Because when she's waiting for him at the precinct or the barracks or whatever it is, she's like, you had me interrogating in that room. It smells like ass and some BO and ass or some shit. Armpits and ass. And I died laughing. Yeah. And then he's like, I'm sorry. It was like, we're doing our job. And she's like, oh, so it's not personal kind of thing?
Yeah, he's like, I can't show favoritism or whatever.
Yeah. So she's like, but right there, so you could tell, like, she's used to having that be a personal attack.
Like an excuse, yeah.
Because her immediate, she's like, oh, that wasn't just because it's me. Like, it wasn't a personal attack on me. And that was almost like an instant kind of like comfort for her. It felt like she was like kind of comforted by that. Like, oh, all right. But then to hear her, talk about, her lifestyle growing up with her mother and, how she wasn't going to live her life being her mom kind of thing, and when he says, when he leaves the office because they got wind of where Max was, he says, I got to go to work or I got to go. She turns and she's like, me too. You know what I mean? Like, she was already packing when he showed up at her place. So like, she was already decided, like, this ain't good enough for me, So, it is very just like, there was a lot of good dialogue, a lot of good moments through this whole episode. I mean, even when you have Lydia, who's trying to find her way again, and she doesn't want to end up having like another relationship like she had with Henry, yeah, So Aaron basically tells her like, look, you gotta take your shot. You gotta just do it. Spend your time with people, whenever you can. Love whoever you can, kind of thing, for as much as you can, because you don't know when it's going to be taken away.
Yeah. And I don't remember Renee and May if you were there or not, but I know Chris and I had a chance to sit down with Paola.
Mhm.
Paola, yeah.
And like just have like a off the record, just like true like person to person conversation, and just her demeanor and her personality, she is Princess.
Mm-hmm.
She 100% is.
Like 1,010%. Like just the way that she conducts herself. I even said it to her. I was like, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was like I see why you were cast as Princess.
Yeah.
And she was like, thanks, I think. I'm like, no, 100% a compliment. I'm
Yeah.
like, you were just the badass that Princess is. And she was like, thank you, I appreciate that. And just, the conversation was, she was an awesome person to talk to.
The cool thing about everything that she shared, I mean, it's from the comic books, and so you read that on the comic page. Probably, if you're a comic book reader, you read that, and it was probably pretty impactful. But to put this person, this face, this flesh and blood person in that position, and just she's just given that character so much life and strength, and it was incredible. I just thought she just did a fantastic job, and like you said, I can't even imagine anyone else playing Princess there. I don't think it could happen, not in the same way, and not be as impactful.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, stemming from her and the conversation she had with Mercer, and then this man literally he just got beat up all episode by women, like just verbally accosted by women the whole episode.
A lot of people in the chat say they don't like Mercer, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Because I think he's outstanding.
Yeah, I see. I don't think you can you can dislike whoever you want character-wise, but I mean, he's trying to he's in his mind, he thinks he's doing the right thing by protecting his sister. Like that's his whole goal, is like protect his sister, whatever. And yeah, let Eugene take the fall, let him be the fall guy, whatnot. Here's this bullshit speech about you needing psychotic meds or whatever, so you could be who you've been and all this stuff, and you haven't been on them and all this stuff. It's trash. It's pure weak trash. It's just.
But in his way, I think that's him trying to look out for his sister.
Yeah, 100% it is.
It gets a really fucked up roundabout way of doing it.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Out of all the options, out of all the ways you can protect your sister, you're picking the easy way. You're picking like the easy out on this. And he's not the easy out kind of guy. You know what I mean? So it's like, I personally, one of the things I want to talk to him about when we have him on the panel is one of the first things that I want to ask him is, does Mercer himself look at Eugene and say like, yeah, you're the dude that should be with my sister to protect her for the rest of her life and all this shit? Because Mercer looks at Eugene and like he knows his sister and who and what type of person, what type of woman she is, smart, educated, nerdy, whatever. So like I'm sure he sees why she sees something in Eugene, but at the same time he's probably like, God damn it, really, Eugene?
But I think the minute he walked into the police station and he turned himself in, and then Mercer was like, is there anything else? And then he says, I acted alone. She was there, but she was not part of it. I was 100% me. Mm-hmm. I think at that point, the look before Mercer says, take him.
Right.
And
he's got a hard swallow.
I think that you actually see him go.
Yeah, he's got a hard swallow.
Huh. Maybe this is the guy who can protect my sister. You know what I mean? So I think that you can actually see that shift in his thought process of like, really, you picked this asshole?
Yeah.
To kind of like, okay, now I can kind of see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Eugene goes through his whole emotional, up and down.
I love the scene with Rosita.
Yeah, I mean, his scenes with Rosita, his scene with Daryl.
But I have to say, I loved when he took his I don't know, the Ebola.
Yeah,
he took it off, and he was like, "Here, give this to Coco. I'm sure she'll be able to grow into it. maybe by the age of age 15. I was like, what the fuck?
Well, I mean, you know why he picked 15 though? Because in Spanish culture, you become a woman at technically you celebrate your quinceañera and you become a woman at 15.
Oh, really?
Where for we do sweet 16. For the Latino community, 15 years old, you essentially become a woman at 15 and you celebrate your quinceañera. And so that's why I believe he picked 15, him knowing that is, because he's smart. He knows that that's, a good age for her to get something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
I didn't think about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did find a blooper again.
Oh, okay. Sweet. Where was it?
Look, I do this for a living, so it's my job to spot this stuff. Where Pamela is with Sebastian and he's strapped down. He hasn't turned yet, but Sebastian's in the background and she's talking to Mercer. So everybody's supposed to be looking at Pamela, but of course I'm looking at Sebastian.
Mm-hmm.
You see his chest rising and falling a little bit. But he didn't hold his breath. It's just in one shot, so it was another blink and you miss it moment. But I was like, I see you. I see what you're doing. Hold that breath, boy. Hold that breath.
So Linda's throwing Eugene right under the bus. I love it. She goes, Eugene is the reason why we're all here in this situation, basically. He thought with his penis, not his brain.
Eugene.
So, I mean, I have to say, though, I agree.
I got to say it came from Linda, though. I love the fact that it came from Linda.
Linda's a savage. And
yeah.
But I think that Eugene did the right thing. I think that exposing Sebastian the way that he did, or, rather calling him out on his shit, I think that was the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Good, bad, or different, I really think that was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And, yeah, of course there's going to be consequences because, I mean, he's the fucking governor's son. You know what I mean? But I think that for once, I think Eugene's being a man.
Yeah. Mitchell wants to know when Eugene's going to get a break, and honestly, I'm happy he hasn't gotten a break because he's been a liar since day fucking one. So keep not giving that dude a break. He don't deserve one.
It's okay. I think...
I love that they showed that in the flashback, too.
Yeah.
They specifically referenced that.
Yeah.
I think it's to show his growth.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it is. But I still don't think he deserves a break.
No, I think this was his turning point. I think this is where he really realized, oh shit, nobody else can step up to the plate. I have to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's his character arch turn right there.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I don't think it's right that he lied, but when it's survival of the fittest, you got to do what you got to do to survive.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He lied, and it worked out. Look how long it's worked out for him.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know. I would be dying within the first week of the apocalypse. Maybe the second week from feeling generous. But
I would get Otis really hard. So.
Who said you'd be hanging out with me? Why is it got to be me that's going to be the one that gives you the Otis treatment? Why you got to point
to
to
brother? You're supposed to protect me.
What?
Not you.
I was talking to him
Okay.
because he's like I know who's gonna. He's like I'll be Otis, and he points at me.
So does this mean Chris is Shane?
Yes, it does. John Berthal, right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I've been called a Shane for a while.
I'm just saying that I could 100% see him shooting in the leg to save himself.
Yeah, I can see that.
Number one,
you wouldn't waste a bullet on me.
I wouldn't need to save myself. Okay, let's just make that very, very fucking clear right now. Okay, I might shoot you in the leg to save you, but not for me.
How would that save me?
Because you're not. If you're saying you can't keep up, you can't keep up. That's not my fault.
No, I would keep up, but I think that you would shoot me in the leg just to save your own skin.
I wouldn't need to do that. I wouldn't have to do that. Mm-mm. No, I might cut a pinky off, make you bleed out a little bit.
Oh, so you're gonna make me tougher?
I'll turn you into bait.
You just have to treat me like what the hell's the guy's name in Dawn of the Dead, the remake, when they're in the tunnel and he's getting killed with the zombies. He's like, kill me, and CJ shot him in the head.
Yeah,
and then it runs. I'd be like, kill me.
You don't have to worry about it. We'll be okay.
Costco, plain and simple.
Don't go to Costco. Don't do it. We actually did. Do you remember when we did? Renee? Do you remember? It was a long time ago when we did a show on where would you go during the apocalypse.
Oh yeah, we broke it down. Yeah.
Like best areas to.
That was like years ago.
Yeah.
Dig that one up and yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be our homework assignment. We'll all do our own contingency plans and we'll present them.
Right.
But we'll save it for when we run out of episodes.
Yeah. Once this, we'll do that at the
So
end.
our first episode after the series finale breakdown, the week after, we'll present our project.
I actually have ideas. I'm going to talk to you guys after the show.
All right.
Yeah. If I ever have time in my life, I still want to start writing my book.
Yeah.
So.
Time.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I know.
I've been writing a book for the past 9 years. So
let's talk about the people that we know are going to end up staying behind, so to speak. Right now, that's Ezekiel, Yumiko, Eugene, Max. Is that everybody? I mean, you can include Yumiko's brother, but we haven't really seen him. He's probably baking a fucking cake or something.
what the hell's his name?
Well, they purposely referenced Tommy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tommy.
He's doing surgery. Yeah, remember they made him be a doctor now.
Oh, yeah, he's a doctor now. I forgot. He made it up because, he cured Ezekiel, right, with the whole whatever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's at least 4 that we know of that are staying. Everybody else is planning on, well, Eugene's captured. The other 3 are staying. Do we think that the ones that are staying behind are automatically on the chopping block?
Wait, did we say Gabe?
I didn't say Gabe, but Gabe was on the fence.
I think Gabe
Fence.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna stay.
You think he's going to stay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he finally feels fulfilled. He finally feels some redemption for what he did to his flock before. So now he's his new flock. His whole, his spirituality's ebbed and flowed and all this stuff. So I feel like he will. Something I lost my other thought. Keep talking.
Pi says that Judith's narrative is starting to get on her nerves badly. I don't like that obnoxious little brat anyway. I gotta listen to her at the beginning
She's
of
the sweetest. How dare you?
Pi is one of a kind.
Yeah, I think that the narratives are very interesting, and I think Chris had mentioned, or no, maybe Ryan mentioned this before, like in another episode, that it's kind of like Carl at the end of the comic, like going through and telling everybody what's happening, what's going on, like that 20-year time, 20 whatever time jump there in the comics. So I think it's fun, and I think it's very interesting, and it's neat to see the clips of all the characters that are gone.
So Pi and Linda want to know what's going to happen with all these kids. Who's surviving out of the kids? You got Jerry's kids. So Pi says, I worry about Jerry's kids because nobody else does, not even Jerry.
He was taking care of him.
Yeah, Nabila's got it. You got Coco.
Ezekiel rounding up the kids last week.
Ezekiel, he was rounding them up.
So Jerry was gone. Jerry had already left.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
I don't think any of the kids are going to die. And we're not going to see that. I don't.
Not on TV, we wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Well, one thing we've seen a lot of kids die.
Yeah, we have, but I don't think these kids.
Remember Ben?
Yeah.
Oh, Ben.
Oh, Ben.
Oh, honey.
I don't think AMC has the guts to kill any of the kids.
Ooh.
Damn, calling them out.
They do.
Do you think to end the series they could pull that trigger though? Like, have them be trapped in a house, waiting to be saved, and then they're just never saved and totally, completely.
Honestly, for like 2 seasons now, I expected Gracie to die. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see, I guess. And then they're asking about Dog, and somebody said Daryl ate Dog. But yeah.
Yeah.
No idea what happened to him.
Dog has been gone.
Dog's with Ezekiel and his little zoo that he has with all his animals. That's my answer.
That's confirmed.
Right.
We got dog is at the zoo. The dog is keeping things in order with the zoo animals.
Dog went to the farm.
They took it.
Dogs hanging out. Dogs hanging out in the big zoo in the sky with Shiva.
Yeah, I was. Can I say I was really hoping that Pamela was gonna flip the coin.
Yeah.
And not have I really wanted her to do the whole like what he does, spin it, kind of thing. And the way that she did it, maybe they tried it and she couldn't. Maybe she couldn't catch it. I don't know, or whatever. But I just feel like that would have been a lot more fitting for his decision making.
Oh yeah,
than just a 50-50 shot like that. But I will say that walking Sebastian in the room, like bring it back once again to the governor and, downtown and everything like that. The pit fights they used to have and everything, the on the walker leash kind of thing. Another throwback kind of scene, which was really cool to see.
I forgot who said it, but someone in chat was like, Pamela's governor 2.0.
Yeah.
And she is a governor, so
Yeah.
it's like...
Zay said it, and I think Mitchell said it too.
Yeah.
But let me see. I was expecting Pamela not to have a coin in either hand. Yeah, that would have been really devious too, to not have a coin in either hand as well.
I could have seen that and shit. And like when she opens her palms, there's no coin. She goes,
Yeah.
"Ooh, bad luck."
Yeah.
And he just dies. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, that would have been cool.
That would have been a No Country for Old Men moment right there.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
But I mean, she is a nasty. I mean, she throws him a knife. She says the body's still warm. Feed my son.
My son.
And it's his dude, the bald-headed dude.
Yeah.
Calhoun.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like
It's brutal.
your gig is up, man. She's so onto everything that he had going on. It's
But
you
what
know.
happened to the other one? The girl.
We don't know yet.
We don't know
We
yet.
don't know
Okay,
yet.
I wasn't sure if I missed something.
I didn't see her in this episode, so maybe she's holding her back for the next
Maybe,
round or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I do have to say though,
Yeah.
I know we spent a lot of time talking about the variants,
Mm-hmm.
but for an episode titled variant, I feel like we didn't get to see a lot of said
Right,
variants. And
right.
That kind of grinded my gears a little bit.
Yeah.
Grinded
Guts.
my guts, I should say.
Grinded your
I'm
gut.
getting used- it's only my
Great.
first episode.
Great.
People
Now
are
Fox is gonna come after us. Thanks.
Yeah.
Great.
Look, they steal everything else, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But if you
Yeah.
think about it, a new deal was, that was for, we heard one mention of the deal.
Right.
So I think they're just, pulling something from the episode or whatever.
Yeah. Let me see. In the episode's last moments before Rosita could depart from the Commonwealth, she was attacked. Yeah, they weren't troopers, maybe more Lance's minions. I don't know. Yeah, they weren't troopers.
Well, yeah, but they could have just been Pamela's people not, maybe she just said, don't go in the soldier, don't go in your uniforms, go do this incognito kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because who else? I don't know that Lance has that many people. I mean, the soldiers obey him, but
Right.
does he have? I mean, all we ever saw was Calhoun and Shira, but I suppose he could have more.
Well, there was that one episode where he had they showed his little, I don't know,
Building.
office building place that he had.
So maybe there were more people in there that he
Could have
had.
been. Could have
Yeah,
been.
I don't know who they were, but man, Rosita was giving a run for their money, though.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean they weren't there obviously to kill her because they snatched her. So
Yeah.
you know,
They had like a hood they put over.
yeah, yeah. So she's being brought somewhere. Speculate why or with who. It's that's 50-50 as well. I mean,
See, I have two theories. It's either going to be some anonymous head squad for Pamela, or it's like this underground resistance that
well, because we haven't seen Magna, and she was part. If anyone's going to be part of an underground resistance,
yeah.
it would have been her because she was working kind of like in the she had the waitress job. She wasn't. She didn't have like
in
a
the
real
background.
Yeah, she didn't have a real profession to go off of or anything like that when she was brought into the community. And we haven't really seen her since we saw her disappear with Yumiko off the bench when the announcement went out.
I don't see Connie and Kelly either.
Yeah.
Right, we haven't seen it. So those three might be together with the
Maybe they're
resistance people. But why would the resistance people attack Rosita?
Because I think that they have to judge to see if they're truly on their side. You don't want to just be like, "Oh, come with me to our secret lair."
Well, I wonder though. I mean, like they were there, and maybe they were going to kind of kidnap her without kind of thinking they could just two guys could overtake
Right.
this girl, and
Right.
she's not having it. They were just going to take them away so they couldn't, whatever. And she just decided that wasn't how she was going down.
Yeah. Yeah, it's it's gonna be good.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see Yeah, I did get somebody posted a spoiler on our Nation page. The idiot. He just posted a giant spoiler picture and everything right in the middle. Luckily, I caught it quick and was able to delete it.
Okay.
But I was like, "Are you kidding me?" So they had to reprimand
Next episode or
Yeah, so I know a huge spoiler.
Oh,
no?
So I was like,
Okay, obviously we're not going to ask what it is, but is it a death?
I don't know. I'm not telling anything.
Pi says Lance has a knife now. He can finish off Sebastian.
Well, I think that's what she wants him to do. I mean, she,
Yeah,
She can't do it herself.
right. Let me see. Oh my god, Pamela didn't want to kill the son. She wants him alive, like the governor wanted his daughter alive, possibly.
Yeah, I think she was just being weird how she is. I don't know. She's just.
Yeah.
Mitchell said that she's his favorite for 11C, and I'm like, man, she is just the worst. And he said he likes how she does things, and gets things done and that kind of stuff. Which but she is, she's brutal.
So we got Mitchell says the episode should have been titled "Horny," since Lance always is when Pam is touching his face.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
It wasn't his face.
Well, yeah, we're not sure what.
I mean,
was
she.
being touched,
It was
but-
weird because like at one point she like had her hand and shit like this,
Yes.
Ugh,
and
yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
and, like
Even the last episode when she did that when he was on the anthill, or whatever, and she did it, he kind of made this moaning sound.
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Creepy.
you know what it kind of reminded me of, and so I'm not going to get into specifics because if you haven't watched House of Dragon, this past week's episode,
Mm-hmm.
there is a scene where a certain female character shows off her leg and her feet for one of the lords, and like that's his payment for information.
He gets
Is that he has a fetish for legs and feet,
yeah.
and so he like masturbate while watching her. And she knows this, but she like looks away and she looks like she's like disgusted, but she continues to do it because she's like an addict, like looking for her next fix, of information. And that's what it reminded me of almost. Like that's the first thing I thought of because I watch these episodes like back to back, and I'm like, what the fuck?
We're gonna post another poll right now in the chat. We want to know
Oh, we
what
are.
you got. Yeah, we want to know what you guys think. When Aaron admits that he knew that he had heard about these types of walkers. Now we talked about this. I was at the beginning of the show, but do you think yes or no? Is it wrong that Aaron hasn't disclosed this information prior to now about knowing of these variant walkers? Like we said, like obviously, if one of us is just reintroduced into a group and we're all part of a community and we're sitting around the bonfire, I'm going to tell everybody the story about I saw a walker opening a damn door or carrying a knife or a rock or climbing a fence. So I mean, do we think how do we think Aaron is in the wrong with not disclosing this information?
I feel like it's just another thing of that it's not typical Aaron that we know.
Yeah.
And it's just the producers just trying to stir some stuff, stir some beef, as they say in Fear.
Yeah.
Just to, I don't know.
Do
It just
we
pissed me off.
do we see another Lydia's boyfriends die?
When was
Probably.
that?
What do we think?
It's surprising Lydia doesn't die.
Wait, Lydia died or Lydia's boyfriend?
I was really dead set on one of our people dying in this episode. Like I knew the Sebastian death was obviously there, but it made me very sad to see Jerry get hurt because immediately I leaped to the fact that okay, he's hurt, he's not going to be able to do certain things or whatever, he's going to die next. And then there's obviously talk about was it Kingdom 2.0 and
Yeah.
King Jerry, Queen Nabila, and like this place that they stumbled upon. Once again, we stumbled upon this giant fortress in the middle of the woods.
I think Fire, somebody mentioned that earlier on.
Oh my god! And the place is gigantic. It looked like it was almost like when you looked at some of the buildings and some of the wall artwork and stuff on the walls on the exterior. It looked almost like a mosque. Like it had just weird kind of like I want to say mosque-like graphics on the outside of the walls and stuff. But yeah, I mean, like you just happen to stumble upon this again, like just hey, look, there's this giant castle in the middle of the woods. It's perfect, and it's been here the whole time. On our way to Oceanside.
Tells me we're gonna see that again because when they were filming the series finale, obviously it was around when pandemic was happening, and one of the days my friends and I were driving to spend the day in Sonoy, and I'm pretty sure we drove past that area because we saw like the production codes and we saw like where the cast trailers were and everything, and I'm pretty sure we saw something, or at least that area where it is in the woods, or we saw something very similar. But I definitely remember seeing some.
They did do some reshoots, though. We heard.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
did, but that's not to say that they don't go back to that. But I know there were some reshoots, and I don't know where they were.
Yeah, because I think this was like the day after Norman got hurt. Because this was like, let's see, pandemic was on a Friday. This was probably Wednesday or Tuesday. So I don't know.
Yeah. Hard to say.
Yeah, right. I just got excited that we got to see the production stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just when you know that they're going to a community that we've seen them go to a community so many times, and from Alexandria, from Hilltop or whatever, and they're once again just going back to a place that they've been to several times, and we happen to stumble upon this place this one time at all the times they've ever traveled there. So it's kind of like, really? Okay, I'll fall for it. You got me. So yeah, I think we probably will see that become Kingdom 2.0. I think Jerry will survive this. I don't think Ezekiel's going to.
Unfortunately, I think they're both going to bite it.
I don't know, man. I think Jerry actually, if you think about all the relationships and you think about all the stories and everything like that, and all the unhappy endings we've had with relationships and stuff like that, I feel like because they spoke about King Jerry, Queen Nabila, and not Ezekiel, you know what I mean? Or even though he's like, I think Ezekiel would like this place, I kind of feel like, he gets to supplant and take that as his future with his family, and Ezekiel doesn't make it. I don't know. And kind of like in like honor of Ezekiel kind of thing.
That's almost why I think he's going to bite it. I think it's because I think it was like a foreshadowing of him wanting something like his own community.
I feel like we've seen so much of that now it's kind of like, I don't know, if I were to pick a happy ending for anybody out of this situation, I think it would be him with Nabila and all their kids to start a big community like that. Because, like, honestly, who else is better at starting a thriving community than someone who is part of one, with an established family?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm kind of, I guess maybe not just because I don't want to see him die, but I kind of feel like it's like, I think it would be fitting for him to have that character arc at the end and let that be his way of going out, so to speak. So I sent Pi the link for the YouTube video of the scene from House of Dragon, and Pi just goes, "Oh my god, I feel dirty now." Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. If I had to give you like depth right now, it's gonna be Ezekiel, Lydia, her new fling there. What's his name again? Elijah. Aaron. And Abe. I'm going with Abe.
Who?
I mean, I'm sorry, Gabe, not Abe. Sorry.
I was like, Abe's been dead for about 4 seasons.
I meant Gabe. I'm sorry, Gabe.
What about Annie and the baby?
Yeah.
That would be cruel if they do that.
Well, I mean,
I still think
I'm
she's
talk-
getting Lori.
yeah, I mean, I was talking about like our main people.
Mhm.
I mentioned it, Annie, and I told you guys in the previous
Mhm.
show that I think that's where Negan falls down into his rabbit hole of becoming the Negan again, with Maggie being the only one to like save him and pull him out of that.
That's a good theory.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So like,
I do think she's going to get Lori's comic book.
Yeah.
Death. I really do.
yeah. But it's like, speaking of our like actual group, I got those ones as being my deaths. Coming up. I mean, Rosita, I think for some reason is going to survive. Even though I know that her comic book death happened a long time ago, and she's had many close encounters. I even think with this recent kidnapping of her and everything like that, I still think she's going to be a survivor at the end.
I don't think she's in danger. I truly don't. I think that this is some kind of resistance that is trying to recruit her
Well,
to the
yeah,
cause.
just
Yeah.
whatever speculation, but you know, I think that
Because
she'll pull through.
I think if they were to try to hurt her, it would have been much easier to knock her out.
Yeah,
And
just kill her.
or
Just kill her.
yeah, unless they're trying to imprison her.
Yeah,
But then even then, you conk her on the back of the head, you knock her out, then it's easier to drag her body than her kicking and screaming, which they didn't do. They took a hood and they put it over top of her.
yeah.
Well, the synopsis, this isn't spoiling, this is the printed synopsis from AMC, says that Carol, in the next episode, Carol and Daryl look for those who are missing. So I believe they take several of them or something.
Yeah.
All right, so this isn't a spoiler either because it was on Talking Dead. They showed Carol getting into a fight.
Mhm.
So, it really could be the resistance because they're trying to round up the strongest ones.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it could lead to the same thing.
Yeah.
It will be interesting.
It will be. As soon as we're all wrapped up tonight, I'm gonna watch the next episode and see what we got.
We're watching it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll watch it Sunday.
Yeah.
Let me see. I'm just going to finish up what we got in the chat. I still think Mercer could be behind everyone getting taken. Well, I mean, that was a community announcement by Pamela, for everyone to be, unless you're talking about like Rosita.
I think somebody mentioned like with Rosita and
Okay. Yeah.
Earlier, someone said that.
I mean, it could be. We don't know where Mercer really is right now. He's on so many different sides of the fence at so many different times.
He's straddling the fence.
Yeah,
One
like
foot on each side.
Yeah, and we don't know what side he's going to fall on yet. I'm sure we all have an idea of where he's going to land. But yeah, I guess that could be very true that maybe he's trying to round up these people in his own plan, his own plot to leave and get out of there.
It wouldn't surprise me if he was the leader or a leader of the resistance, and that what he's doing right now is keeping up a front.
Yeah,
I mean, what's the best way to hide? But in plain sight.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll find out. I mean, it's coming quick, so it's
Don't remind me.
We'll find out more. I mean, if anybody is in the chat that's already watched the next episode, I'm sure there's plenty of you. But who knows what happens in 20s? But I'm about to find out when we're done.
We have literally like 1 month left. Do you realize?
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
That hurts so much.
Yeah.
it does.
There's a lot of fun that's going to take place in the next month, so we'll be all right.
Yes, I am super excited.
Yeah.
I'm gonna annoy the crap out of you guys next weekend.
I know, it's like 2 weeks, right? It's like 2 weeks.
Not even a weekend. 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Little less time. Yeah, so I'm excited for the camp. We've got you guys. We're going to try to do some, I don't know exactly what all we're going to do for you guys, but we're trying to do some things. And if nothing else, we will get recordings of our panels.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to try to do some live things if we can, because we've got some very talented people helping us. But if not, we will have good recordings this time. Last time we tried to do them with the phone and it was terrible, but it's all we had. And so this time you guys will be able to at least see them afterwards. And we've got some great panels. We get to interview a lot of really good people.
Yes. Yep. And
Very
then
excited.
don't forget to hang out with us next week, because next week we have Carrie Genzel back with us.
Yes,
Jerry,
we do.
That'll be Tuesday, right?
Yes, Tuesday. Yep.
So Tuesday the 25th. Yep, Tuesday the 25th. We'll be back with we'll be back with Carrie 7:00, and that'll bring us right to the camp.
Yeah, a couple days before.
Um,
That's on Tuesday. We fly out Thursday.
Friday.
Friday?
Friday.
Friday. I'm all fucked up, but yeah, Friday.
Yeah.
You're flying on Friday night, right?
Friday evening. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, I know.
Dang, I was hoping I would have seen you at the airport.
We don't land till like 9.
9. Yeah.
Assuming it doesn't get delayed again.
I know.
Yeah, no delay this time.
It got delayed
Renee
5
will
hours.
hurry it up.
Well, I mean, it's a different airline, and I haven't heard anything bad.
Different airport, different airline.
Yeah. So, just as long as we don't get hit with some kind of
I know,
nor'easter,
right?
um,
I know this is gonna be like a really nerdy adult thing, but it brings me a lot of excitement that we're flying out of an airport that has 1 gate.
yeah, right.
Like 2 gates.
like 2 gates. Yeah.
Like I'm
Dude,
like,
it never fails. Whenever I go to Georgia, my gate is always at the end of the hallway.
Oh,
and I
like,
get so mad.
Our
Yeah.
plane, like we're gonna walk the actual tarmac to get onto our plane.
yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
it's actually an Air Force base.
yeah, it's what it is. Yeah, it's Stewart Air Force Base. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I get good old Newark. Woo! For anybody who knows Newark Airport, you know it's like I think it's like one of the top 5 worst airports
Oh.
in the country.
Well, Newark's also like one of the top 5 worst cities in the United States, but I mean,
It's like a giant crawling cockroach.
Ugh.
So
it really is. It's
just-
easier for me to get there.
I'll never forget. I dropped a friend off like super early in the morning at Newark Airport. We're driving through Newark, and it was like 4 o'clock in the morning. It was like still dark outside, and this was the first time that I legitimately saw homeless people around a burn barrel.
Mhm.
And I was like, I thought this shit was like a movie. She was like, no, it's not. This is Newark. I'm like, oh,
It's
all right,
Newark.
Yeah, it's just
all right,
Newark.
cool.
Welcome to Jersey.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
dirty
pretty
Jersey.
The
That's the reason why they call us the Dirty Jers.
the seaport stench.
Yes.
Meg the Greek,
Yeah, Meg the Greek. Yeah.
Opa.
right?
Yeah. Hey, Mom, what's up? Mom pops
This is
in.
hilarious.
Mom pops in at the end and says, "I like HPN, which is White Plains."
I do like HPN,
Yeah.
but after our experience last time, I'm a little perturbed.
Yeah, that and
Yeah.
that's White
That's
Plains.
White Plains in Westchester County.
Yeah.
That's another one. That one's only about 40 minutes.
That one's about
South.
6 gates.
Yeah,
About 6 gates.
yeah.
But here's the problem, right? So we get there. I don't remember what time our flight was, but we got there like about an hour before hour and a half before we departed. Because again, small airport. You know, there's 6 gates. There's 1 security checkpoint. We were in and out of security in 2 minutes. Not even kidding.
Mm-hmm.
We're sitting there. A fucking sandwich cost $15.
Yep.
The sandwich, the bread was stale. The meat was slimy. Never again. And then they're like drizzling. Drizzling rain. And they were like, "Oh, we're delaying your flight."
Mhm.
But meanwhile, the flights that were going to Fort Lauderdale were flying out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we're flying out of the same airport.
The same-
If there's rain here, there's rain 2 gates down that way. I was so
Right
pissed.
there.
And it just kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. And then for Delta, they were like, "Oh, there's nothing we can do for you. Nothing we can do for you. Nothing we can do for you."
Yeah.
I'm like, what? And they're like, "Well, if the flight gets canceled," I looked at the flights while I'm sitting with him in the friggin' cafeteria, and I'm like, "Chris," he goes, "What?" I'm like, "The next flight's 9 o'clock in the morning." He goes, "What?" I go, "It's this flight." There's one other flight that was like departing like 40 minutes after us, also going to Atlanta through Delta. And I'm like, "But after that, it's 9 a.m.
Yeah.
And he was like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah,
That's
dude,
the
really."
downside to small airports, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. The conveniences, they're not far away, but yeah, no.
Yeah.
It's
I'm just gonna drive, so it'll be fine.
Oh,
yeah.
no saying anything.
Yeah.
All right.
You hush
All right.
over there. You know what's going to be cool is that I guess whenever your timeline is, Meg, we'll have both of you down in Georgia.
I'm hoping by the spring camp.
Yeah.
That's my ultimate goal. I'm going to Disney in January, so I'm hoping when I come home I can start really checking it out.
Mhm.
When I go down for the finale party, I'm actually flying down a day early so I can scope out some towns that a friend of mine named.
Okay.
Very cool.
Very cool. Yeah. So it'll be a nice split. I have you two down there, us two up here.
We won't be on camera though together because we're going to be like 3 hours apart. I think.
Well, yeah. I'm just saying. It'll be like
No,
a nice-
actually, every Tuesday you have to drive 3 hours.
Yes, you
I
guys.
mean, Renee, if you want to spend the weekend, you're more than welcome. You know that.
I have the bigger house, so
Yeah, but my dog's really cute. Your dog. Okay. Say less.
Sold.
My dog will she won't tear apart your house, but she needs areas to run, as small as she is. So she will just zoom.
Mitchell says, what happened?
I have a 1-bedroom condo. So
Yeah.
She said the dog needs space to run. I said my house is 5,300 square feet.
Yeah, plenty of space.
Let her run. Yeah.
And she'll lick you to death, so you're good.
Mitchell says he's going to be going to the airport for the first time ever in November by himself.
Oh my god. Okay, Mitchell, if you have any questions, I will hook you up because it is scary to fly alone. I get it. And they will give you a snack pack. Depending on who you fly with, they will give you, as long as you say it's your first time, they may not give you the pilot wings, but they will give you a snack pack.
And I think, Mitchell, are you coming from Canada? Is that what?
Yeah, it's Canada.
That's
yeah,
cool.
he's coming
Very
from Canada.
cool.
Yeah.
It's too bad you can't make it to the camp in October.
Well, if he could fly from Canada to Stewart, and then he could fly down with us if he
There
wants.
you go.
You know, I mean, or you could fly to Newark. You could fly to any other, but I would take a direct flight. That way you don't have to worry about no layover.
Yeah.
The one time I had to take a layover was the worst experience of my life.
Yeah.
I was flying from JFK to Dallas Fort Worth, and then I was catching a connecting flight to Amarillo, Texas. And I will never forget this, but our flight was delayed at JFK. Shocking.
Night, Lindy.
And I had 30 minutes to deplane, run across Dallas Fort Worth Airport. If you've ever been there, it's fucking huge. It's one of the largest airports in the United States.
Huge.
And I had to run clear across, I think it was 3 terminals. I didn't know. One of my first times flying. It was my third time flying. I didn't know the fact that there was a thing called a sky rail, whatever the fuck they called it. So I'm literally fucking running, full on sprinting, all 250 pounds of me, fucking flying down the aisle. And I'm flying. This guy stops. He's like, "Where are you trying to go?" And some random passenger. And I was like, "Oh, I'm trying to go to this terminal, this gate, whatever." He's like, "Oh, I'm going 2 gates down from you. Follow me." And he showed me the sky rail. I got to my gate 5 minutes before they closed the doors.
Wow. Yeah, that's rough.
Talk about cutting it close.
The connecting flights suck.
Oh
man.
my
They
God.
don't give you any time.
You either have 15 minutes to get to your next flight,
Or
or you have 16 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is no in between.
So
I was pretty much airport I was at, but I had to run like that too. I had heels.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Heels went, and I flipped them off, and I.
Mitchell says he has to travel to Detroit and then from Detroit to Atlanta.
Oh wow.
So yeah, you're gonna have to hustle.
Detroit's a big airport too.
Yeah, Detroit's
Yeah.
big.
Yeah.
You'll have to hustle. I'm sure they'll give you. I'm gonna say if it's a quick connecting flight, they give you about 40 minutes to get from gate to gate. So depending on how much time, maybe he's got 2 hours in between because he's coming from Canada.
It's far, yeah.
I would say Google the airport layout.
Yes, ahead of time.
Yes, ahead of time. Figure out where the sky rails are. Figure out where the gates are, and always know where your gate is.
Mhm.
Oh, Detroit is only 15 minutes. Oh, so he's flying out of Detroit to Atlanta, so he doesn't have to fly to Detroit, which is good.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, cool. So direct
Very
flight.
good.
Cool.
So he's just a border guy. He's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
He's like border dude.
Yeah,
You're like an honorary American.
Yeah. So,
that's not a fun title to have. Say that.
Yeah, don't tell people that.
Well, look, man, if you need to, if you have any questions about traveling,
Yeah.
flying, whatever, please feel free to reach out to any one of us. We'll gladly help you out.
We do it semi-professionally now.
Yeah, it's kind of just becomes part of your life as you get
Yeah.
older. You fly to places.
Yeah.
I
I gotta drive 6 hours. Fuck that. I'll fly 2 hours. An
Yeah.
hour.
Literally.
Dress comfortably. Don't
Yes.
wear anything with
Yep.
metal. No
Yep.
belt. No necklaces. No,
No bracelets.
Yeah, try to keep it so that when you go through security, it's clean and easy.
Shorts or sweatpants are your best friend.
Yep.
T-shirt or tank top, depending on weather.
Yeah, make sure you wear.
Flip-flops,
I was
yeah.
gonna say, but
Or
make sure you
sneakers.
wear socks because if you you got to take your shoes off.
Oh yeah.
I've walked barefoot.
Oh.
Don't barefoot the airport.
Not in
Meg.
Detroit.
No, not in Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
I would do it in Stewart, maybe. Maybe.
I didn't have socks and I had flip flops on.
Okay, well that's okay. I get it. So wear like a nice pair of comfortable sneakers or something.
Slip on something.
Yeah, slip on.
Yeah.
Yeah, socks, obviously, and never leave your house without clean underwear on. Mom always says. So
And if they it's not the end of the world. Happens to me every time I fly.
flag your bag.
No, they usually pat me down. And
Oh,
I,
pat you down?
I look at them and I'm like, it's just that. It's fine. I'm not hiding anything.
Yeah.
I will never forget 2019. It was right before the pandemic. I was with, you guys know Connie Wolf?
Yeah.
So I was with Connie, and so she was flying to Danbury Airport, and I was flying to White Plains, and our flights took off like within like 15 minutes of each other, so we Ubered together from Sonoy to Atlanta. And so we get there plenty of time, whatever, and I got through security in like 10 minutes. I mean, it was like there was nobody there. It was early in the morning. It was perfect. And so I'm at my gate, I'm relaxing, and I think maybe like 40 minutes later, I got a text from Connie, and she was like, "You're not going to believe what just happened to me." And I'm like, "What?" And she goes, "They brought the bomb-sniffing dog." And I go, "What?" And she goes, "Ryan, I can't make their shit up." She goes, "I have cookies in my bag that I brought for my like her nieces and nephews." And she goes, "They thought they were pop cookies." And she goes, "They weren't, I swear." And she was like, it was so funny. Oh my god.
Yeah. Pi said she got stranded once. She missed the doors by seconds, and she got stuck in a country she didn't know with barely any money. That sucks. That is terrible. I got patted down in security every time. Maybe I'm looking at them the wrong way. Stop winking, Pi. Yeah. Pi's like, hey, something's in my pocket. There's a party in my pants.
You want to see my leg?
They're just searching for the coin. Let's be
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're looking for the coin.
You know what's actually really funny too is when you stand in the rotating thing and you have to take your hands and you have to go like this, right?
Oh, I have to go like this. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't do it up here because you couldn't see it. I had to do it down here. But what's funny is I have a tattoo of the Flash from DC Comics on my leg, and it's fairly large on my right outer thigh. And every time I go through airport security, it flags something metallic right there on my right leg. So almost always I get pulled to the side by TSA, and they always think that I have like something in my pocket. I'm like, dude, and they're like, turn your pockets out, and I'm like, okay. So I turn my pockets out, and they pat me down, and they're like, what? And I have to explain to them that I have a tattoo, and it triggers it every time. I don't know why. But I'm like,
metallic injected into you? Like,
I don't know.
Maybe
I'm Wolverine. I don't fucking know. Maybe it's adamantium. I don't know.
I knew it.
Let me just go through. Yeah, I mean, we're. Let me see. Mitchell said, "Thank you guys. I have a friend on Twitter. It's been helping out." Yeah, no problem, man. We're here.
Pie.
We're here for you.
You pervert.
What'd she say?
Is that a tattoo? Or are you happy to see us?
Tiffy, I love that Tiffy's been hanging out. I really do.
Yeah, Tiffy, we miss you.
We miss you. We know you have such a busy life with the kids and family and everything like that. So we appreciate you chilling.
Tiffy shared with us an article that Sarah and Callie's did about Lori's return because she said this, because of that talk last time, and I forgot to share it with everybody, so I'll share it with you guys. But it was her talking about Lori's return, or the fan theory that she didn't die and stuff. Nobody knew that.
Meg, he can't DM you because you guys don't follow each other yet, so we'll make sure that happens in case he's got to ask any questions. And then yes, Tiff, we miss you. We miss you too, a lot.
I'm seeing her pictures of her kids. They're so.
I know everybody's growing up.
Yeah.
She just had the baby like yesterday, and
yesterday, literally.
Holy shit!
I mean, that's one of the crazy things, right? It's like that. Like Tiffy's one of the OGs, one of the OG followers, and like, so I mean, that at this point, we've known you for
6 years.
6 years.
Yeah.
Probably going on 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like seeing like your family grow up is just really cool to be a part of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I remember when Tiffy announced that she was pregnant.
Yeah.
She just turned.
Baby shower for
Yeah. We did the yes.
That baby shower was the best because everybody sent me the money and things, and we bought all the stuff that we knew she wanted, and then people kept sending me money, and I can't remember how many Target gift cards I ended up getting because I didn't know what else to get her. So I'm like, okay, I'll find another one. So
that was
you can't
really
go wrong with Target gift cards. You just can't.
I'm saying
hits me right in the feels though.
Yeah. Say Tiffy goes, yeah, when we used to do the Survivor podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gets me right in the feels. Oh man.
And Mitchell said, I just met y'all. I feel like it's been a while.
Absolutely, man.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun in less than 2 weeks. So,
yeah.
All right. We're going to wrap it up. It's been almost 2 hours.
Damn.
But
there was a lot to unpack in this episode.
But there was, but you know what? It's always fun to interact with everybody outside of the show and just talk. and get to know each other and everything. And to reminisce, of course. Once again, Mitchell will help you out any way we can. We'll make sure we're all following each other and everything like that. And then we'll be back Tuesday, and we'll be here with Carrie Genzel. Clark.
Miss Carrie Genzel.
From the Commonwealth.
Yes.
You know she's doing her photo ops at the camp as
Clark.
As
Yeah,
Clark,
I saw
yeah.
that. Very cool.
Which I thought was awesome. Because
I still need to buy my photo ops.
I thought about buying a photo up with her.
Yeah.
And we'll get selfies anyway, Meg.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
We need to make sure we do that, yeah.
I think we'll talk to her in the pre-show next week and see who she wants to interrogate. We'll let her choose.
I already talked about doing Meg.
Oh, you? Oh, Meg.
Meg.
Meg? Oh, okay. So it is settled.
About this.
We
But I
did?
didn't think it was gonna be official.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
See, Meg's nervous scratching now.
Yeah, I know. Meg's getting interrogated. Meg's getting interrogated.
Just a little tick. Why am I switching all of a sudden?
No, if you don't want to, you don't have to. But
No, I did cheat. I did look at Chris when she interrogated Chris,
Mm-hmm.
and I was laughing, but I'm just like, oh god.
Yeah.
forgetting how quick she goes from Carrie.
Yeah.
It's just second nature to
It's like a light switch. It
Yeah.
really friggin' is.
I might need a copy of this one just for personal records.
Yeah. Hey, set up your phone, hit record, and just go with it, you know?
Boom.
All right, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us. We appreciate you all, especially you overseas people that are,
Yeah, it's late then.
2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
2:40 for Linda.
Yeah, Linda said goodnight before, and Pie's still here. Tiffy's just pulling a late night mom night right now. Mitchell's same thing. I mean, he's a young kid. He can deal with it. But yeah, everybody, thank you so much. We appreciate you guys. We will be back
Bye,
next
Hilarious.
week. Bye, Ma. And we will see you guys at 7.
Peace.
Tuesday.
Deuces!
Hey, Renee, Chris, and Ryan going live. Best podcast, Beauty and the Beast. Sit back and catch a vibe. Oh yeah, we talking zombies and apocalypses and all those things you like. Going beast mode, and if you didn't know, it's Peter Z up on the mic. Whoa, hey, TWD family, grab the snacks about the pantry and subscribe and like if you can, please. Or those walkers eat you like some candy. Hey, okay. You at the right place at the right time. No one does it better, that's the bottom line. Beauty and the Beast, this is prime time. Let's go.